All right. All right. Welcome. I'm Cindy. Oh,
You need to get on camera here. You're not there.
oh, this way?
Yeah, there you are.
There we go. All right. Well, I love being flexible, so this is perfect. So this is my journey so far: teacher, instructional designer, and user researcher. And let's see. I'll start by this slide presentation was mainly done with the fonts and everything with Keep My Son, which was really fun to be able to work with him. But he might be a little upset that that we had to change it because now all the fonts are different. But that's okay. He still had so much fun coming up with photos. See, oh, okay. So maybe there we go. So I'm Cindy Crawford. I know we were saying if only we had a chance to put this up on the schedule because Rebecca, Ms. Fraze was saying, oh gosh, if only we could have used your name to promote this symposium. But my small print is, sorry folks, no Sports Illustrated swimsuit poses, cutsy ads, or even personal skincare demos today. But yeah, my son found this and I was cracking up the skincare. So your trajectory. For many of you, your personal journey is just a beginning or recently just begun. Take a minute to visualize the roadmap you might have, you think you might have. A lot of us have already started and we've already seen a little bit of waving into the roads, but maybe some people are just straight on. I know that I've got friends in both territories. So forks in life, because you've already made some big decisions, such as enrolling in the LDT program, or maybe some other program like Joanne and I were talking about earlier, different educational programs. Those choices have already determined a fork or two for you, your professional journey. Oops, back one. Oops. How do you go back?
Can you see this? Can you see this icon, small icon in the middle? You can.
Over here?
No, and not screen.
I see the writing.
If you push right on top of it, they have one on the top of the store.
Oh. Well, we're just going through too fast here. I don't know how to back up. Okay, well, maybe there's.
Okay. I can't use it.
Oh, you got back. You got this.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Well, wait a minute. Now it's not going back. Are you using the down arrow? Okay, there we got it. Yay! Now, let's see. Okay, this one's kind of hard to read. Some of the things you're aiming for may take a whole different turn than what you expect, or maybe each choice you make will keep you traveling close to the path you're imagining. So as our previous, I don't know if you're in here before, for our previous presenter, he and I feel like we've had similar paths, so I can't wait to talk to him about that. But just the teacher and then going into education, going into instructional design, mine veers off a little differently after that, but it reminds me of that. Let's go. Oh, now we can go forward. Okay, so I'm sharing my professional journey with you to encourage your initial vision, but to also consider opportunities that branch off into related fields that incorporate learning design concepts and are very closely related. So many things about learning design can be used in so many different areas, and I think if you look back on all the alum, which I'm an alum, we used to call it Ed Tech, and the previous presenter, he was about the same time as me. I got out a few years before him, and it's just amazing how you find that learning design can do so much for you in so many different professions. So my first role was an elementary school teacher, and like the previous presenter, I was thrown into a pretty crazy situation of first and second grade combination where the parents didn't want me in there, and then later I did a third grade position, And I learned so much from that. And that was just the beginning. And I come back to that later as we're talking, but let's go ahead and my fork in the road, which I don't think it was for him, but a lot of people were laid off. You get the pendulum going back and forth during different economic times when the budgets get cut and such. So we were all laid off, and that kind of led me into looking at technology in education. So my second role was instructional designer. I started off working as a consultant with McGraw-Hill, and well, they called it Glencoe at that time. That's one of the areas that they had. They've got the earth science. We were working on the earth science, the physical science, and the life science and other subjects. That's was a great thing because I started from doing content, and then they brought me in as an instructional designer, and they said, as long as you enroll in the program, and I was very excited to do that. I was talking to someone earlier, and they said that they were just trying out. She was a, potential student, and she was saying, I'm just trying out the first course. And I did that with, let's see, Mona Meyer and another friend of mine. We were all just trying out those first couple courses. And it was just like, wow, I'm learning so much, and I can use it right now in what I'm in. But we also noticed it's not just about teaching kids. It's not just about K through 12. And they showed us how it was all throughout all the corporations, that it's all about learning. How do people learn best? So we were applying those design concepts to our work. Okay. Then I moved into senior instructional designer with McGraw-Hill, and they changed the name several times, and it was McGraw-Hill New Media, and they had a new vision. It was called the Learning Network, and it was very exciting because it was just the beginning of the internet and being able to use it for something that really helps kids in education. And it was also aimed at teachers. We did a lot of things with teachers. So this gave me the opportunity to branch out into the world of usability. That's what we called it back then. Now it's more user experience. And I was very lucky to have one of the other professors at that time was Brock, and he encouraged a small group of us with interest in usability to branch out and really try what it's all about. So I used what we learned to introduce it into McGraw-Hill and cultivate an user experience into design and development of the Learning Network, which was really exciting for me because I was able to take it to the executives that were coming in from the East Coast, and it was surprising to me that it wasn't done, that the thinking was not there. And now what we have now, everybody's starting to think this way, have design thinking, and think about going to find out what the users need. It's just like when we learn these things in learning design, we find out that we need to know our audience. We need to not just know a little bit about them, we need to know how they are working with whatever it is their tools are. So then I come to another fork in the road, and that's my family. And so as I was telling Bernie that this is something I guess a lot of people who are getting their masters will find, wow, this is a big fork right here. This changes everything. So I actually took 10 years off, which is a long time. So that was kind of a challenge because now I'm competing with all these people who've been staying up to date with technology, and I'm in a field like instructional design and user experience that's just boom, boom, boom with technology. So it's been challenging, but I've been able to keep up, and I'm excited to, also be substitute teaching, which I'll come to in a minute, because that kind of fits better with the whole family schedule and gives me a chance to do some user experience. So this was put in by my son. That's why it says wink, wink. My son did not write this last part. He had to describe everybody in the picture. So my fourth and fifth roles are combined because, like I said, I'm kind of putting those two together right now. They're combined in the fact that I'm doing both of them right now, but mostly I'm substitute teaching because as a consultant, it's kind of hard to find that particular specific researcher role. Usually in the world of UX, unless you've found a role in a company or you've started your own business and you maybe are even starting to hire some other people to help you out, usually you have to be doing research and design. So user experience designers usually do the whole gamut. They do the research, they do the design, they do it all. But the thing that I noticed about user experience design is I liked it so much when it's research because it's more like the ends of the ADDIE model. We've got the analysis and the assessment, which were always my favorite parts, because I really like to get in with people and advocate for the people and how they're thinking and how they're using it and really find out the meat of what is going on. And I mean, I love the design too when I'm doing it collaboratively. But yeah, a lot of people like to use their design that they've used in instructional design and bring it into more of a UX design field. I just like the research so much. So some of the clients that I've worked with for user experience design research are McGraw-Hill, and that's where I started. And I just started introducing it to them, and I sort of made my own road right there in that I convinced the company to hire some other mentors. And it's really exciting because people, well, basically they were consultants that came in and started to teach me, and I started to also teach others. And one of them was Dana Chisnall, who's now very, world-renowned, and she does political and civic and voting and that kind of UX to study how people are using their ballots and how they're getting involved with government. So it was really great to be able to learn from them. And there was also another, and there was also another one. We brought them in, and it was just really great to help the company start thinking about looking into how users are thinking and empathize with them. I took people out from our company that were all different, there was the graphic artists, the animators, the engineers, and take them out and actually take them to the users and show them how to observe, how to facilitate a scenario of, okay, let's say you're doing this, and take them through a task and watch them have their eyes go, oh, really? They don't see it that way? Because the way we did it before when we designed is we just made our best guesses. We weren't going to actually really analyze what was it that the teachers need. And so then we also, with our experts that came in, we went out and conducted contextual inquiries, which is basically going into people's real work situations. And we went, in different parts of the country. It was really exciting that they put a budget towards, our group going out with the experts to go to different high schools and different schools and talk to teachers, and then to even put some prototypes out there and test them on the screen with the person just, teachers. We did teachers. And I was talking to Joanne earlier, and she was talking about how she had been a participant of a study with Intuit. It's really fun to be on both sides, to be a participant in a UX study and to also be on the side of learning and watching and observing and getting information from as a team member. So let's see, so we just had so much fun, and we learned so much from going out into the schools for the contextual inquiries. And then doing some prototype testing. And then we'd even go to schools and test it with we were doing some games, and we were doing some avatars, and we were testing those with the students, which was one of my favorite things, because then I was taking in working with the students and then also finding out what works for them and what doesn't, and finding problems. And then Canonical was a company that I had jumped into right after I had my family, and it was my first thing that I got into. I jumped into that all by myself as a UX consultant. That was pretty scary. I remember the previous presenter was just talking about how, you know, as he went into his new business, it can be very scary, but you can use so much of what you've learned to persist. So that was it was a very interesting project, because I was working with people in London and they have a company, and it was an open source system, and it was something very technical, way over my head, but I was just super excited to do the user experience part of it. There goes my voice. So I learned about the whole project quickly just by Skyping with this team in London. And they just wanted someone over here in San Diego or in Los Angeles to go to this conference. And it was system administrators. And they, using all the technical things they have, they were using this open source system. And I basically was able to just do prototype testing with people that were at the conference, and that was a very targeted market. It was system administrators, so they really wanted somebody at this conference. They wanted to see how the American system administrators were doing. They had already been to Amsterdam and tried it out with them. They wanted to see if we were getting the same findings, and we did come to find out we were getting a lot of the same findings. They were able to confirm, oh, these things we found, oh yeah, the users had the same problems over here in Los Angeles. So we have to make some changes with this. And then the city of San Diego, I will go into a little more detail. And then Sony Playstation, I just did 1 or 2 times, which was very exciting. Although I have to say I'm not as much of a gamer, but my son was super excited that I got to go into the secret headquarters. And it could be an exciting job, but it's only, I can tell it's only for certain people. I go in and the whole place is dark, and everybody works in the dark. And I thought, I don't think I could work in this cave. It's just dark, dark, dark. And then as I said before, I'm substitute teaching right now, and it's hard because I love both of these things. So I'm hoping eventually to try to bring more of the education and the user experience together. But it's not easy because it's super, super specific. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed that when I was at McGraw-Hill, being able to do both of these things and the instructional design. I was able to use all 3, but unfortunately, we were all laid off, and the learning network actually got pulled. But the cool thing is, I still see certain activities when I'm substitute teaching, or my son brings something home, and I'm like, oh, there's that life science exploration. I've got to tell my, you know, actually Mona had done that one. I said, did you do the one on photosynthesis? And she's like, yes, I did. And so it was pretty exciting to see that some of the explorations are still being used, but it was sad to put so much user experience budget and time and, you know, blood, sweat, and tears, and having so many team members collaborating on finding out their needs, and then it wasn't even used, but these things happen. So, and then with Poway and Classical, this last few years, I've been doing a lot of special education. I've been working with special education children, and one of the things I just wanted to make a note of is, I was talking to a teacher the other day, and I've been noticing that there just isn't a lot of technology aimed for special ed. So I was thinking, as the last presenter was talking, I mean, we're constantly, like I said, we're constantly, you know, getting to forks, we're getting to new opportunities. But I'm starting to feel like maybe special education and user design research might be a good place to be, because I think that it is very needed. And this teacher was telling me, yeah, they don't really care about special education when it comes to the technology that they bring in. They don't try to make it work for us. They just kind of keep it the way it is for regular education. So they have to, she kind of has to maneuver around that all the time, you know, try to make it fit for her students. So what we did for the city of San Diego, I was part of a team, and like I said, one of the things you can do if you become involved in UX, you could be just a researcher, like my friend was, my colleague. She started her own firm, which is Hopscotch, and she made a bid to the city of San Diego and was able to be accepted. That her bid was accepted. She won that bid, and it was very exciting. And she invited several of us to work for her in that. And you know, this was a very exciting project that I'm so glad that I got into user experience just to be a part of this. And I'm hoping there'll be more, and she does too. So what we did was we basically did a digital makeover, because at that time the mayor was pretty new in office, Faulkner, and he just really wanted to show, one of his objectives was to show, to get people a chance to see the new changes that were coming in city government. And he wanted to get people more engaged. He actually was hiring people from all different realms to help this. He wanted everybody local to be a part of this, which was it was very exciting to have local companies all working together. So we did a lot of discovery research, where we went out and we just went to people on the field. We went all over and just talked to all kinds of people to find out how do they see San Diego. And it's amazing what happened with the look of the original and the look of the now how it is. It is so much brighter and reflective of what San Diego is, just from talking to people, and also finding out what is it they use this for. And so it was not just citizens, but even tourists, and of course also the people who work for the city. So we looked at these different things: design research, website design strategy, community engagement, informal and formal interviews, surveys, and they really got San Diego involved in surveys. I mean, every time you went on to use the library or something, it was trying to get everybody to put to give their information and their input. Brand user testing, recruiting, website usability, and information architecture were all things that we did.
Can you explain what brand user testing?
Okay, that had a lot to do with more of the graphic of the logo for City of San Diego, and we looked a lot at colors of the brand and what it represented. I mean, we talked a lot out in the field to people, what do you think of when you think San Diego? So you'll see a picture in here. Our logo was, what is your San Diego? So that was one of our main questions, you know, what is it? What is San Diego to you? So we came up with all these different ideas of what people see, and we were coming up with all these different themes, and that actually led to colors, you know, because of the ocean and the sun, and it really reflected the city of San Diego very well. So I'm making dots all over there.
Yeah. Example of that is on your PowerPoint that you can show.
Yeah, it's coming up, I think. Yeah, I have a before and after. It's just one of the main pages. So we found out that residents turned to the City of San Diego's website to accomplish a personal or a city task, and they're either tactical or exploratory. So for instance, we came up with Get It Done because we were finding out, you know, a lot of people, they want immediate support and they want action. And then there's long-term planning. So those are tactical. They want to do something. So then we started saying, well, if they're coming there, we want to make sure we want to get them to where they want to go first, like right from the get-go. And so we're like, okay, let's talk this out. So we did a lot of collaborating and trying out different, you know, ways to say it. how it would work best. And later we prototype test this. So now you'll find when you go to the city website, you'll see some of this. And then this actually led to more work for Chris, the owner of the company Hopscotch. She helped them get started on and get it done app. So I don't know if anybody has seen that before, but you can just download an app, and if you see a pothole in the road, you can report it right from your phone. So, and actually I've been on Nextdoor and I've been seeing people say, oh, you gotta use this, and they actually pay attention to you. Because, you know, it used to be, and maybe it still is, but at least it's better now. It used to be you would call and it would take you a while to get to who you wanted to talk to, and it was confusing. So this is helping people get to what they need quicker and get things accomplished. Oh, and here's the before. The other area that I don't have up here is exploratory. People want to explore. They want to explore, but where are all the hiking places, or where are, who is my, who is the person in charge of my area? Trying to think of the word right now. Like the city council, these types of things. People might want to find out who's representing them in their area. So you can do that now. But there's exploratory, and then there was the tactical. The exploratory is more about like what's going on in San Diego. So this is the before, and it was one of the things that we found. So we wanted to make the website work more seamlessly for citizens. That's what the mayor, one of his main initiatives was. He wanted it to, and he definitely has already got that going. I mean, I'm sure there'll be more and more iterations as time goes on. But we found out that people wanted to complete tasks. Oh, am I supposed to be over here in this?
Well, and we're about out of time.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So anyway, it was pretty exciting because here's the after. And so you can see that there's the emblem, trademark, the branding. And it took a while, even once we started going. And then the colors. And then here's the get it done. So you can get right to what you need. And we actually won, as a team, winner of GovTech's Best of the Web Award. So it was like a second place, but it was really cool for a city. There's our team. What's your San Diego? That's Chris. She's in charge. And just so if you're thinking about branching out to UX or some similar area, I found the single best thing that I've done is go to meetups, symposiums, conferences. Oh, S is down there. Yeah, and I will tell you the two for UX that I found are really helpful are UX Speakeasy and SDXD, San Diego Experience Design. I've actually run into other people that are instructional designers, all kinds of students, all kinds of people that go there, and it's a really excellent place to share ideas and meet people. And hope, enjoy your unique adventure and coming out of learning design and technology. And I'm still pursuing my next part of the journey, and it might be with special ed and user experience. Thank you so much. I enjoyed meeting you.
Thank you.
Can you show me the before again?
Oh, sure.
I mean, we have time, like,
Yeah.
I want to see the before and
Let's see,
after.
how did we go back?
John?
Oh, up there.
Good, how are you?
Yeah, there's not many pictures of the before.
It's like you turn the
Anymore.
website into something like a Google website
Right.
where it's simplified.
Yeah.
Everything's very
Pretty does.
clear. Got it. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Let's see. That's,
Whoop, be careful.
yeah, let's see. Are we able to do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to get the next session.
Okay.
set up.
Do you
I
have
can
your
show it
laptop?
to you. I can show
Okay.
it, at least on my phone. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, let's see.
Oh, Linda. Remember I see you. I will talk to you more.
Hello again.
And this morning. Hi. Hi, Emily. Nice to meet you. You know? Yeah. Yeah, me too. No, I have to. I'll never do it. So, yeah.
I don't know why they always call them no.
I know. That's okay, it's the one that's on the list.
Oh, this one is out there?
Yep. Right there.
So we go, because the mouse isn't working, you're gonna have to.
Oh, it says do the arrows work? Yep.
Yeah, they
Okay.
do.
That's all just showing that.
All right, good. Then I'm gonna move my camera.
You let me know when you're ready to go.
It'll be very soon. And then just so that you see where you are on the
Okay.
camera.
Yeah, it's all around me. I think.
Oh, I should stop.